After the dog was taken under control, did you actually go inside the home? Can you describe the layout of this home for the court, please?
Sure. It's a single story, ground level home. It has a basement. At the front of the home, there's a living room and a kitchen. On the first floor, and then just towards the back, there's two bedrooms and a bathroom. Bedroom on the, I don't want to get myself confused with directions, but if you're walking through the front door, the back right is set up as a bedroom with bed. And towards the back left is another bedroom that was arranged as an office, kind of office.
You mentioned there was a basement. Did you go in the basement as well? Where did you start going through the home when you first made entry?
I started at the side door off the driveway. I walked in and announced myself. I was at the sheriff's office. I received a response. Walked through the first floor. I made my way towards the back bedroom. Looking for Theodora. Checked that bedroom. I didn't find anything there. The bed and some, pieces of furniture, the walls. And then kind of went around almost like in a circle, checking the bathroom, the office. And
did you find any people on the first floor? Did you go to the basement? What happened when you went to the basement?
Checked basement. Mr. Ronald Fleming entered the house with me and said that when I went downstairs, there would be a door to the right with a closed door that was set up as a bedroom. So I checked the rest of the basement and announced myself against the sheriff's office. I knocked on the door, didn't receive an answer, so I went to the door.
You made a reference to Mr. Ronald Fleming. Was that the defendant you were speaking with, or was that somebody else?
The Danny sitting in the back of the courtroom made the 911 call for assisting the son of.
Once you were in the basement, did you find anybody?
Yes.
Who did you find in the basement? Do you see that person in the courtroom today? Can you please tell me where he's sitting in an article of clothing that he's wearing?
My left wearing jumpsuit, white sleeves.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness identified this defendant?
That objection record shows so reflect.
Did you speak with the defendant? What did you say to him?
I asked him if he looked here. He said he did. I asked him if he looked here with Theodora. He said he did. I asked him if he'd seen Theodora, where she was. He said he did. So I told him that some family members had called and they were all trying to figure out where she was. And I asked him to come upstairs and step outside with me so we could try to figure out where Theodora was.
Where did he go when you asked him to step outside?
Up the basement stairs to the first floor and then on the side over to the driveway. Mr. Fleming's senior room.
Did you go back outside as well? Did you check any other areas of the property after you went back outside?
Mr. Fleming's senior had one. The yard, the inside behind the garage. And behind the house, there's a small lawn. There's a tree with a little garden around it. Side area behind the attached garage. Water.
Did you notice anything about the yard?
Directly behind the house is kind of a small patio. Land kind of break off, and then there's a garden, shrubs in it. There's a tree in the middle. I noticed there's a wheelbarrow and a shovel sticking out of the ground next to one corner of the garden. In that particular corner of the garden, had a large patch of bare dirt.
Were you able?
Sorry.
Please go ahead.
I just said that there's nothing growing there.
At this point, had you found Theodora anywhere in the house, in the garage, or any immediately visible area of the front or backyard? After the defendant went outside, did you speak with him as well as Miss Tony Curry and the defendant's father?
Right.
And who did you understand that the defendant was to Theodora? How were they related? What did he say the last time he saw her was?
He said Mr. Fleming, I'll say Mr. Fleming Jr. If that's okay, just for junior and senior.
That's fine, or the defendant, whatever please you.
Well, I spoke with the defendant and I asked him when the last time he saw Theodora was. I believe at first he said, a few days ago, I asked him to try to narrow that down. Told me that gone with Theodora to a vet appointment on Monday. But he last seen her maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. But trying to narrow it down a little bit further, I asked him what time of day he might have seen her last. He said he believed it was in the evening. I think we kind of settled on Tuesday. I think it was the last night.
Did he say if anyone else had been in the house?
Yes, he said nobody other than Theodora had seen her.
Did you ask him about Theodora maybe going for a walk? And what did he say about that?
Said that Theodora was kind of stooped over or a little hunchbacked, and she was elderly and she probably couldn't have fit into the driveway. She tried to walk.
After you spoke with all of these people, did you do any checks to see if Theodora had been transported to a hospital by ambulance?
Yes, I contacted dispatch and asked them to call the local hospitals, Trinity Health, or St. Joe's, and the University of Michigan Hospital. I also asked our dispatch to check the ambulance service, and I also went and personally checked on my in-car computer for any calls that we might have had something at the end.
Any positive results?
Dispatch informed me that Hydra had not been checked in at the hospitals. HV had not been at the address or transported. We had to have any calls at that address.
When you say a very long time, what time frame are you talking about?
I want to say over a year, but I'm not 100% sure on how long that is, but more than a full month.
When you determined that she had not been transported to the hospital and was not at the hospital, did you do any other investigation?
Yep, I asked, I've asked Miss Curry to call Theodora's cell phone. Miss Curry previously told me she tried calling her and texting her and had not received an answer. So I asked her to call again while we were all there just to see if we could find the phone maybe.
What happened when you asked her to call the phone?
She called it. We heard it right inside. The defendant went in and retrieved the phone again.
Did you look at the phone? What did you notice about the status of the messages and calls on the phone?
I went through, I believe, emails, phone calls, text messages, and it seemed like all of the phone calls and text messages stopped being answered or opened, read, or replied to as of it was Tuesday.
Where did you put that phone?
Placed in my patrol car.
After putting the phone in your patrol car, did you speak with Ronald Fleming Sr.? Without telling me what he said, did you go back to the house again? And what were you doing when you went back to the house for that second time?
I asked the family to get a look around again, just to try to see if we missed anything, if there was any clues we could find that might tell us where Theodora was.
Did you ask the defendant to handle the dog at that time?
Dog was the most aggressive dog. The dog was the most friendly towards the defendant. So I asked him to secure the dog. The dog was inside of the house.
Had the animal control officer left at this point? So you asked the defendant if he could secure the dog so you could search again?
Bring the dog outside on the driveway. There's a dog run, chain link fence. I asked him to secure the dog there so we could look around without being harassed.
Can you describe the fences that existed around the driveway area so the court can have an idea of what this was like?
Yes, if you're facing the house, the driveway's on the left. There's about a 6 or 7 foot chain link fence that touches the wall of the house, goes across the driveway, then goes back to where it connects with the detached garage. And the detached garage on the back of it is connected to the property line fence. And then if you're trying to go from the backyard into the driveway, there's about a 4 foot chain link fence that completes the dog right here on the driveway.
And that fence that's between that goes across the driveway before you get to the door, is there like a gate in that fence? There's a gate.
There's also a small other side that goes in the backyard. 4 foot section.
Did the defendant, Ms. Curry, and Ronald Sr. all consent to you going back into the home? Did you find anything of significance inside the home when you went back in again?
I don't believe I found anything. I don't recall who exactly it was, but I remember Ms. Curry and Mr. Fleming Sr. coming and saying that they had found her Theodora's house keys and car keys. And then I believe they also brought out, it might have been the defendant that brought out her laptop and iPad.
So at this point, what of Phaedra's possessions had you been able to identify as being at or near the home?
Her house keys, her car keys, her phone, I believe her ID and credit cards were in a phone case that had credit cards slots on the back, so those were with the phone. Car, house keys, phone, ID. Laptop, iPad.
Now, at this point, where was her phone located at this time during your search?
I don't remember where exactly the phone was because only the defendant went inside to retrieve the phone when it was ringing and he brought it out to me so I could see where in the house.
And you had secured it in your patrol car? So at this time, was it still in your patrol car? Did you go to get it? As you walked outside of the home, what, if anything, happened?
I was walking up to my car. I had been kind of pulling my hair out, figured to is everything that I've been on a lot of welfare checks over an hour. Every welfare check I'd ever been on. I was ready to call it quits. I didn't know where Theodore was. Felt like I checked every box. Everything I discovered that far told me that Theodore must be there at that house, but she wasn't there. I didn't know where she was.
Did you recall anything about your search?
As I was walking out to my patrol car, I God spoke to me and told me, "Don't leave. Turn around. She's here." They suddenly had a lot of thoughts, a lot of recollections that came all of a sudden. I remember the garden in the backyard, captured freshly up tractor, shovel sticking out of the ground next to it, the little barrel. I remembered when I was how weird it was that his grandson would be in the house for however many days, 2 or 3 days. Only one there. Nobody else had come to the house. There's no signs of forced entry. Theodore was abducted. The door wasn't kicked in. The doors were all locked inside. Well, her car was there. Her phone was there. Her keys were there. Her friends who didn't live there with her were texting her phone. I saw a message her on her phone. Theodore, are you okay? She wasn't at the hospital. There's everything said if she was anywhere. She was at the house. So I thought, worst case scenario, what could be the answer to this? Thinking this in my head. The only person that was there with Theodore was Ronald Fleming's. If she's nowhere to be found, the only place that my cop brain goes to is maybe she was killed. And if I killed somebody, where would I hide a body?
You said Ronald Fleming Sr. Did you mean Ronald Fleming Sr. was the only person?
The defendant was the only person in the house. The only person was around here. So I asked myself, if I was going to kill somebody and hide a body, where would I put it? I would bury it. And I remembered the freshly patched up turned dirt in that part. How would I dig a hole? I would use a shovel. There's a shovel sticking out of the dirt. If I'm by myself and I have to move a body, how would I do it? I would use a wheelbarrow and sitting out next to the patched dirt. So I walked back to the fence on the dog was out, the dog was barking at me. But to the other side, I climbed over the fence, walked into the backyard by the garden, and I saw the patch freshly upturned dirt was there. Stepped on it with my foot. It was hard tacked around the edges, like the dirt hadn't been disturbed, and in the middle it was soft and slightly sunken in. That section that was soft and slightly sunken in was roughly 6 feet by 2 feet. It was the size of a body, the size of a grave. So I grabbed the shovel and I started digging. I dug for a little bit. Did something that it wasn't a rock, it wasn't more dirt, it was something softer that the shovel struck. Kind kind of scraped the dirt with the shovel a little bit. I saw what looked like cloth or a piece of a sheet sticking up out of the dirt. So I threw the shovel down. I got down on my hands and knees and I started digging with my hands. I grabbed the sheet and pulled it back, and I reached in with my hand. I grabbed what felt like a human limb, like an arm or a leg.
What did you do after you grabbed what it felt to you like a human arm or leg?
I knew in my heart that Theodore had been murdered, and the defendant had buried her in the backyard. I had stuff on my hands now. Like on the radio, I called for more deputies to come to my location. I went back over the fence, went back to the front of the house, and wasn't really sure the best way how to go about it. They figured just go talk to the family and pretend like I had done it, taking driver's license time for smart guns to get.
Where did you go in the house when you went back inside? And what area of the home did you end up in to speak with everyone?
Immediately to the left, when you go in through the front door, there's a kitchen, like kitchenette dining.
Like an eat-in kitchen? And who all was in there?
Then Ronald Fleming Senior and his Curry.
As you were standing in there, did you talk with everybody? How long did you speak with them, if you recall?
Maybe 5 minutes.
At some point, did you decide to arrest the defendant? And did you place him in handcuffs?
I did.
Did you search him and put him in the back of your patrol car? Did you question him at all? Did a sergeant arrive on scene along with many other people? And at that point, did you turn over your investigation to other members of the sheriff's department? May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Right. Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Deputy. You go to this location because family called you concerned about the whereabouts of a family member. You get to the location, one of the family members is there, Ronald Fleming Sr.
It's not me.
Okay. Did you ask Ronald Fleming Sr. if he lived there? Okay. Did you ask Miss Curry if she lived there? Did you ask Mr. Fleming Sr. for identification to check his address? Did you ask Ms. Curry for identification, check her address? Ms. Curry provided you with the key. Did you ask Ms. Curry if she had authority to enter that location?